Hey guys, Monster Footy Insight bringing you a new video on how to black out your shoes, or primarily how I tend to black out my shoes. Here I have a Nike Tempo Premiers in the black and white colorway, which is the most common. As you can see, it comes with a white swoosh and the white portion here on the tongue. I've taken the liberty of already blacking out the left shoe for you guys already, so that you can see completely blacked out the Nike swoosh all the way around, and I've blacked out the tongue part. The way I usually tend to do this is on boots that have, like the Nike Premier, that don't have much to really do. It's simple, it's effective, um, and it tends to look very nice. Let me bring out some shoes that I wouldn't recommend doing this on so you guys get a better idea. So in terms of shoes I wouldn't recommend really doing this on are any that have an overly complicated design that would be hard to really fill in. As you can see on the Magista, it has these cutouts and these little ridges, which would make it very difficult to actually go into every single one of these and actually black it out. It just takes too much time, and usually it doesn't come out looking very good. So I would stay away from a shoe that has too many ridges or bumps or overly complicated things that you'd have to fill in. Something else I would avoid is anything super bright, such as this Magista. Um, Anything that has a super bright underlay or even a white, it's going to be very hard to fill in, as it's going to be very noticeable for the color to stand out from the black. Also, anything that's knitted, so the fly knit, or for Adidas, the prime knit, I would avoid those, as well as the knitted material. Unfortunately, you can't really paint black, it's going to stay the way it is. So I would avoid these kind of options if you can. Um, like I said, the simpler it is, the better it's going to look. So in terms of what you're really going to need is your boots, of course. You're going to need some masking tape. For some boots, you might want to mask the sole plate of the shoe. That way it doesn't get painted, or any specific details on the shoe that you don't want to get painted. Use tape. Take your time. Fill it in as close as possible. Um, with something like this, it's definitely about the prep work. If you prep it for it well, it's going to look well. If you rush into it, it's going to look bad. So definitely take your time in prepping it. What I actually use for these, it's actually the Sharpie, but it's actually a paint-based Sharpie, and as you can see, it's actually, where is it? It's oil-based. The reason I use oil-based is because with a leather boot, oils or anything like that tend to soak into the leather primarily well, and it actually permanently changes the color of the leather a little bit more than actually just sitting on top. With a boot like this Magista over here, something like this is actually going to stay on top instead of actually changing the color of. But oils tend to do very good at actually soaking into the material and changing the permanent color. So oil based or dye based, anything that's dyed, would work very well. So in terms of the overall process, you definitely want to take your time, start at one point and just follow through all the way around, making sure you have everything covered. Make sure you tuck your laces out of the way, of course, that way you don't get those painted. And like I said, be sure to prep for it as you would need. Unfortunately, fortunately for this, I won't really have to prep much. I just have to be real precise with my pen, and let's get started. So that's pretty much it for my first coat. You would want to let this dry and probably give it another coat, maybe even 3, but usually 2 coats is fine. I'll go over all the fine details as well, such as the line going across there, to make sure I have everything blacked out. Be sure to take your time. It's never a good job when you rush through it, so make sure you're careful, take your time, do it with a purpose, making sure that it all comes out looking good at the end. So here's the boot after another coat, and fine doing all the details, making sure I got every little piece. Overall, I'm very happy with how it looks. Just have to let it dry. Usually I would say let it dry overnight before you actually go playing it, and you should be good. It should dry to the touch in about an hour or so, or less than that. But before you go playing it, I would say just let it completely dry for the full day, and then you should be able to use them. So in terms of this process again, leather is the best way to go if you're looking to black out your boots. And as I said, the simpler the job is, the easier it's going to be and the better it's going to look. Stay away from primarily synthetics if you're going to be doing this, especially the fly knit or prime knit, since the knitted material won't really turn black. It's going to stay that same color. There are blackout kits online available if you want to get the most professional job done. I would definitely recommend those. If you're looking to have a little project on the weekend or during the week, then this is definitely a good way to do it. Keep in mind that this doesn't permanently change the color of the material. It isn't a permanent fix, so over time it will wear off, especially if you're playing constantly, and especially if it's in a wet area. If you're playing in the rain or on really wet grass or muddy grass, then this effect will wear off a lot faster. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.